You know, people are funny creatures. Hilarious, really. They walk around with their noses so high in the air, you'd think they're trying to kiss the clouds. But the thing about standing that tall, being that arrogant, is you can't see the storm brewing at your feet. You can't see the cracks in the foundation until it's too late. And then boom, the storm hits. The house falls, and they're left in the rubble, choking on their own pride. Now, you're sitting here, looking at me like you're lost. Like the world chewed you up and spit you out. But let me tell you a little secret, buddy. The world doesn't care about you. Never has, never will. The sooner you get that through your thick skull, the better off you'll be. People like to think they're special, unique little snowflakes. But the truth? They're just scared kids hiding behind masks. You've seen it, haven't you? The way they act, all smiles and handshakes. But the moment you turn your back, they're sharpening their knives. Let me guess. Someone betrayed you. Someone close. They smiled to your face, promised you the world, and then what? They stabbed you right in the heart. Happens every time. It's almost poetic. But you're still holding on to that hurt, letting it weigh you down like a goddamn anchor. Why? Do you think they care? Do you think they're sitting around feeling bad about what they did to you? No, they've moved on. They're out there living their lives while you're here drowning in your pain. You wanna know why? It's because you let them. You gave them the power. You handed over the keys to your mind, your heart, and then you stood there, shocked, when they burned everything to the ground. That's on you. You trusted them. And trust is a dangerous thing. It's like handing someone a loaded gun and hoping they won't pull the trigger. Foolish. Naive. But here's the thing. Every scar, every betrayal, every tear, they're lessons. Brutal, painful lessons. And if you're smart, you'll learn from them. You see, pain is a gift. Yeah, I know. It doesn't feel like it when you're in it. But pain is a teacher. It's the only thing in this world that's honest. It doesn't sugarcoat, doesn't pretend. It's raw, real, and it's yours. Nobody can take that from you. So why not use it? Why not let it fuel you, shape you, make you stronger? People like them, the ones who hurt you, they don't expect you to rise. They expect you to stay down, to wallow in the mud, broken and pathetic. Prove them wrong. Because here's the thing. The storm they created doesn't have to destroy you. It can cleanse you. Strip away all the bullshit. Leave you raw and real. And when you come out the other side, you'll be unrecognizable. Stronger, smarter, dangerous, and oh, how they'll regret underestimating you. But you can't just sit there and wait for it to happen. You've got to choose it. You've got to stand up, look the world in the eye and say, not today. You've got to take all that pain, all that anger, and turn it into something sharp, something deadly. Because the world doesn't respect weakness. It only respects power. And power doesn't come from being nice or kind or fair. It comes from being willing to do what others won't. To walk through the fire and come out the other side, not as who you were, but as something more. Look at me. Do you think I got here by playing nice? No, I've been through the fire, the storm, the goddamn apocalypse. And you know what? I'm still here. Stronger, smarter, meaner. Because I learned the truth a long time ago. The world isn't fair, people aren't kind, and nobody is coming to save you. You've got to save yourself. So stop crying over what you lost. Stop waiting for someone to come along and fix you. Take all that pain, all that anger, and use it. Turn it into something they can't ignore, something they can't control. Because at the end of the day, the only person you can rely on is yourself. The only person who can make you whole is you. Remember this, their arrogance blinded them to the storm they created. But you can be the storm. You can be the one they fear, the one they regret crossing. All it takes is a choice. So, what's it gonna be? You see, the thing about storms, they don't ask for permission. They don't wait for an invitation. They come when they damn well please, tearing through everything in their path, leaving destruction and chaos in their wake. That's what you need to become. A force of nature, unpredictable, relentless. But first, you've got to let go of this need for validation, this pathetic craving for someone else's approval. Who the hell are they to decide your worth? Huh? Who gave them the right to stand on their pedestal and look down at you like you're nothing? They think they've won, that their lies, their betrayal, their arrogance have broken you. But what they don't realize is that they've handed you the greatest weapon of all, clarity. You've seen their true colors now, haven't you? No more illusions, no more masks, just raw, unfiltered truth. And that truth, my dear friend, is your power. You know why they're so arrogant, so smug? It's because they've never faced someone like you. Someone who's been to hell and back. Someone who's tasted the bitterness of betrayal and survived. They think you're weak because you've been hurt. But pain doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It makes you dangerous. Do you know what the most dangerous person in the world is? It's not the one who's never been hurt. Oh no. It's the one who's been broken, shattered into a million pieces, and then picked up those pieces and turned them into a weapon. That's what you need to do. Take every scar, every wound, every goddamn tear, and forge it into something indestructible. They wanted to see you fall? Fine. But make sure when you rise, they won't even recognize the person you've become. And don't just rise. Tower. Stand so tall, so unshakable, that their arrogance crumbles beneath your shadow. Because let me tell you something about people like that. They can't handle being proven wrong. They can't handle seeing the person they underestimated become unstoppable. It eats away at them, gnaws at their very soul. And that's where your power lies. You know what else they don't see coming? The silence. Oh, the silence is beautiful, isn't it? When you stop explaining yourself, stop trying to prove your worth, stop begging for scraps of their respect. Silence. It's deafening. It makes them uncomfortable, makes them question themselves. And that's when the storm truly begins. Because when you stop playing their game, when you stop giving them the satisfaction of seeing you hurt, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability, my friend, is terrifying. They don't know what to expect, don't know when or how you'll strike. It keeps them up at night, their minds racing with the what ifs. And you sit back, watch them squirm, and smile. Because now you hold the power. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine them sitting in their little bubble of arrogance, thinking they've won. They're laughing, celebrating your downfall, completely blind to the storm gathering on the horizon. And then, out of nowhere, it hits. A hurricane of everything they thought they destroyed in you. Your strength, your resilience, your fire. It crashes into them with a force they never saw coming, tearing apart their smug little world, piece by piece. And you don't just survive the storm. You are the storm. You don't need their apologies, their explanations, their pathetic attempts to justify their actions. You don't need anything from them, because the moment you stop needing them, they lose all their power over you. And that is true freedom. He pauses, letting the words hang in the air, his grin fading into something more sinister, more calculating. But here's the catch. You can't fake it. You can't just pretend to be strong, to be unbreakable. You've got to feel it deep in your bones. You've got to believe it. Because if you don't, they'll see right through you. They'll smell the fear, the doubt, the hesitation, and they'll pounce. People like them. They're predators. They thrive on weakness. So, you gotta take that weakness, that fear, and turn it into fire. Burn so brightly that they can't even look at you without being blinded. And don't you dare wait for them to come crawling back, begging for forgiveness. No, no, no. That's not how this works. You don't rise for them. You rise for you, for the person you were, the person they tried to destroy. You owe it to yourself to become everything they said you couldn't be, to prove, not to them, but to yourself, that you're stronger than their lies, their betrayal, their arrogance. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna sit here, wallowing in your pain, letting their actions define you? Or are you gonna stand up, take all that hurt, all that anger, and turn it into something unstoppable? The choice is yours. But remember this, their arrogance blinded them to the storm they created. Now, it's your turn to show them what a real storm looks like. Oh, I'm not done with you yet. No, you see, there's something else you need to understand. The world, it doesn't just hand you second chances. It doesn't give you a do-over because you cried or begged or screamed at the sky. It doesn't care about your tears, your pain, your endless nights staring at the ceiling, wondering why. The world only respects one thing: action. Let me tell you a story. Not a happy one, mind you, but one worth hearing. There was a man once. Let's call him John Doe. Ordinary guy, nothing special. Worked hard, played by the rules, trusted the wrong people. Sound familiar? One day, those people, his so-called friends, his family, his loved ones, they turned on him, used him, bled him dry, and then tossed him aside like yesterday's trash. And John, well, he did what most people do. He cried, he begged, he cursed the heavens. But nothing changed. Why? Because he didn't change. He was still clinging to this ridiculous notion that the world owed him something, that people who hurt him would wake up one day, see the error of their ways, and come crawling back. Foolish, isn't it? But that's the lie we're all fed. The lie that if you're good, if you're patient, if you just wait long enough, everything will work out. But it doesn't. It never does. You see, John had a choice. He could keep waiting, keep hoping, keep living as the victim. Or he could take that pain, that betrayal, and use it to become something more, something dangerous. And you know what he did? He stopped waiting. He stopped hoping. He stood up, looked in the mirror and said, "Enough." He became the storm. And oh, how they regretted underestimating him. You should have seen their faces. The panic in their eyes when they realized he wasn't the same man they'd betrayed. He didn't need their apologies, their pity. He didn't need anything from them. He'd found something far more valuable. Himself. His power. His purpose. That's what you need to do. Stop looking for closure. Stop waiting for them to say they're sorry. Because they won't. People like that, they don't feel sorry. They don't lose sleep over the lives they've ruined. No. They sleep like babies, wrapped in the comfort of their own lies. But you're different. You've got fire in you. I can see it. You just don't know how to use it yet. So let me help you. First, you've got to let go of this idea that you owe them anything. You don't owe them your forgiveness, your understanding, your time, nothing. They took from you. They left you in the dark. And now it's your turn to leave them in the shadows. Not out of spite, not out of revenge, but because you're too busy building something better, something stronger. You know what really terrifies people? It's not anger. It's not revenge. It's indifference. When they realize that they don't matter to you anymore, that their words, their actions, their existence have no power over you, that's when they lose. Because people like them, they thrive on control. They need to feel important, to feel like they can break you, manipulate you. But when you rise above that, when you show them that their games mean nothing to you, you take away their only weapon. And oh, the irony, the same arrogance that blinded them, that made them think they could destroy you, becomes their downfall. They thought they were untouchable, invincible. But now they're watching you rise, watching you become everything they said you couldn't be. And they can't stand it. Beautiful, isn't it? The poetry of it all. They tried to break you, and in doing so, they made you unstoppable. But here's the kicker. You've got to want it. You've got to want to rise more than you want to stay in the comfort of your misery. Because misery, oh, it's seductive, isn't it? It wraps around you like a warm blanket, whispers in your ear, stay here. It's safe, but safety is a lie. Comfort is a cage, and if you stay there, you'll never see what you're capable of. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna let their arrogance define your story? Or are you gonna take the pen and write a new one? One where you're not the victim, not the fool, but the hero of your own goddamn tale. You've got a storm inside you, waiting to be unleashed. Don't let their blindness keep it chained. Show them what happens when the storm they created becomes the storm they can't escape. Show them that their arrogance was their biggest mistake. And then you'll understand what true power feels like. You're still not convinced, are you? I see it in your eyes. That flicker of doubt, that nagging little voice whispering, "What if I can't?" Oh, I know that voice well. It's the same one that whispers in everyone's ear when they're at their lowest, telling them they're not enough, that they'll never be enough. It's a parasite, feeding on your fears, your insecurities, your pain. And do you know what most people do? They listen to it. They let it crawl inside their head, take root, and grow until it chokes the life out of them. But not you. No, not anymore. You've got to starve that voice. Starve it until it withers away into nothing. And the only way to do that is to drown it out with a louder voice. Your own. Not the voice of the person they broke, not the voice of the person they left behind, but the voice of the person you're about to become. The voice of someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. The voice of someone who doesn't just exist, but dominates. And oh, how they'll hate it. They'll hate seeing you rise, seeing you become everything they said you couldn't be. They'll hate it because it shatters the lie they've built their lives around. That they were better than you, stronger than you, smarter than you. But deep down, they'll know the truth. They'll know that their arrogance wasn't just blind. It was fatal. Fatal for them. Because it created you. You want an example? Fine. Picture this. A storm rolls in. Dark clouds. Roaring thunder. Winds so fierce they tear trees from the ground. Everyone runs, everyone hides because they know they can't stand against it. But there's one person who doesn't run. One person who walks straight into the heart of the storm. Why? Because they are the storm. They don't fear it. They embrace it. They let it fuel them, drive them, make them stronger. And when it's all over, when the dust settles, they're the only one left standing. That's what you need to become. The storm, the chaos, the force of nature they never saw coming. Because storms don't care about opinions, or judgments, or petty little betrayals. They don't stop for anyone or anything. They just keep moving forward, destroying anything that dares to stand in their way. You know what's funny? People like them, the liars, the betrayers, the arrogant fools, they think they're untouchable. They think their words, their actions, their choices have no consequences. But you're the consequence. You're the reminder that actions have repercussions, that no storm comes without destruction. But here's the thing. You can't just sit there and wait for the storm to pass. You've got to become it. And to do that, you've got to let go of all the things that are holding you back. The fear, the doubt, the guilt, especially the guilt. Guilt is a leash, a chain that keeps you tied to the past. Cut it, burn it, leave it behind. Because the person you were, the person they betrayed, is gone, dead, and good riddance. The person you're becoming, they don't need anyone's approval. They don't need anyone's permission. They take what they want, when they want, and they don't apologize for it. You gotta decide who you want to be. Do you want to be the victim? The one who spends their life asking, why me? Or do you want to be the villain in their story? The one they'll never forget? The one who shows them what real power looks like? Because let me tell you something. Villains don't care about being liked. They don't care about being understood. They care about one thing, and one thing only: winning. And you, my dear friend, have the potential to be the greatest villain they've ever known. Not because you're evil. Oh no. But because you've been to hell and back, and you've come out stronger, harder, unbreakable, because you've taken everything they threw at you, everything that was meant to destroy you, and you've turned it into fuel, into fire, into power. Do you feel it yet? That fire inside you, that storm waiting to be unleashed? It's there, I can see it, I can feel it. And so can they. That's why they're afraid. That's why they'll try to stop you. Try to pull you back down. But you won't let them, will you? No. You're done playing their game. You're done living by their rules. From now on, you're the one in control. You're the one who decides what happens next. So, stand up. Take back your power. Be the storm they never saw coming. And when they look at you, when they see the person you've become, let them see their own arrogance staring back at them. Let them see the storm they created. And let them realize, too late, that they'll never survive it. You're still sitting there, still waiting. Waiting for what exactly? For the universe to hand you a sign? For some miraculous moment where everything suddenly makes sense? Let me save you the suspense. It's not coming. There's no grand revelation, no magic fix, no knight in shining armor riding in to save the day. That's the lie they feed you to keep you docile, to keep you hoping. Hope. Ah, what a cruel little joke. Hope is a leash, and you're the dog chained to it, barking at a world that doesn't even hear you. But let me ask you this. What happens when the dog stops barking? When it snaps the leash, bares its teeth, and shows the world what it's truly capable of? That's what they fear the most. Not your pain, not your tears, but your potential. The raw, untamed power inside you that they tried to bury under lies, under betrayal, under their own arrogance. Do you know why they betrayed you? Why they lied? why they hurt you wasn't because you were weak. No, no, no. It was because you were strong. Because you had something they didn't. Something they couldn't understand. Couldn't control. And people like that, they destroy what they can't control. It's in their nature. But here's the kicker. In trying to destroy you, they've only made you stronger. Think about it. Every time they knocked you down, every time they stabbed you in the back, every time they left you bleeding in the dirt, you got back up. Maybe not right away, maybe not unscathed, but you got up. And here you are, still standing, still breathing, still fighting. That's power, real power, the kind they'll never have, because they don't know what it's like to suffer, to endure, to survive. Let me tell you something about pain. Pain is a gift. Yeah, you heard me. A gift. Because pain doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't coddle you. It doesn't whisper sweet little nothings in your ear. It's raw. It's real. And it's yours. Nobody else can feel it the way you do. Nobody else can take it away from you. And that means it's yours to use, to shape, to wield. Take that pain, that anger, that betrayal, and turn it into a weapon. Let it sharpen you, harden you, mold you into something they can't ignore. Because the truth is, they don't care about your tears, your sadness, your sleepless nights. But they will care about your power. They'll care when you walk into the room and the air changes. When they feel the weight of your presence. When they see the fire in your eyes and know without a doubt that they can't touch you anymore. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need their approval. You don't need their apologies, their explanations, their pity. You don't need them. That's the ultimate revenge, isn't it? Not proving them wrong, but proving to yourself that you don't need anyone to validate your worth, that you are enough, that you are more than enough. You've been through hell and you're still here. Do you know what that makes you? A survivor. No, scratch that. A warrior. Because survivors endure, but warriors fight. They rise. They conquer. And you, my friend, you've got the makings of a goddamn warrior. But you've got to stop waiting for someone to hand you a sword. Forge your own. Take every scar, every wound, every ounce of pain, and turn it into steel. And when the time comes, don't just defend yourself. Attack. Strike first, strike hard, and don't stop until they're the ones begging for mercy. You want to know the real reason they're afraid of you? It's not because of what you've been through. It's because of what you're capable of. They see it, even if you don't. They see the storm brewing inside you. The fire waiting to be unleashed. And they're terrified because they know that once you realize your power, once you embrace it, there's nothing they can do to stop you. So stop doubting yourself. Stop second guessing. Stop hesitating. Stop playing small. You are not small. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are a force of nature, a hurricane waiting to happen. And when you finally unleash that storm, when you show them what you're truly capable of, they won't just regret underestimating you. They'll fear you. They'll remember you. And they'll never, ever forget the storm they created. So, what are you waiting for? The leash is broken. The chains are gone. The only thing holding you back now is you. Be the storm. Be the fire. Be the chaos they never saw coming. And when they look at you, when they see the person you've become, let them see their own arrogance staring back at them. Let them see the consequences of their actions, the storm they unleashed, the fire they can't extinguish. And let them know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they can never, ever touch you again.